But this wasn't a game to Mohammed. It was a scam. He had business to conduct.
Tabari. When the messenger reached Tabuk, the governor of Aylah,
a seaport at the north end of the Gulf of Aqaba,
came to him, made a treaty, and agreed to pay the jizya tax. The people of Jarba and Adhruh also offered to pay him the tax.
It was Mohammed's favorite verse, "Give me the money." Not a word was spoken about summoning them to Islam. Mohammed wasn't out with his troops being religious. He didn't bother calling the lost heathens to faith. He just wanted their money. This man wasn't a prophet. He was a pirate. His scam had become what Khadijah envisioned, the profitable prophet plan. The Kaaba ink was now paying dividends. As an interesting aside, the place where Mohammed now found himself was in the shadows of the real Mount Horeb, the mountain in which Moses had received the Torah. And yet Mohammed was oblivious. This prophet summoned additional village leaders to make their contributions. Some, according to Tabari and Ishaq,
encountered the messenger's cavalry, which was led by Khalid. Ukaydir was seized, and his brother Hassan was killed. Hassan was wearing a silk brocade gown woven with gold in the form of palm trees. Khalid stripped him of it and sent it to Muhammad. When it arrived, the Muslims felt it with their hands, admiring it.
They felt no remorse for the man whose blood they had spilled upon it. They were fundamentalist Muslims, and Islam had corrupted them with words like these.
The prophet said, "Are you amazed at it? The kerchiefs in paradise are better than this."
He, like Hitler, was incapable of pity. Later,
Khalid brought Ukaydir to Muhammad. He spared his life and made peace with him on condition that he pay the zakat tax.
Mission accomplished.
They left Tabuk and returned to Medina. Tabari. On the way, Muhammad ordered that whoever got to the well before him should not drink until he arrived. Some of the hypocrites arrived and drew water. The prophet cursed them and invoked Allah's curse on them.
Nurturing the flock wasn't part of his job description. The translator of Volume 9 of the History of Al-Tabari, The Last Years of the Prophet, inserted a footnote here to make certain we understood the nature of these expeditions. Quote, "The term sariyyah is applied to an army sent out by the prophet in contradistinction to ghazwah or Maghazi, meaning a raiding party wherein the prophet himself participates." End quote. You've got to question a religion that has words for things like this.
Bukhari. I heard Ka'b bin Malik narrating the story of the ghazwah in Tabuk, in which he failed to take part. Ka'b said, "I did not abandon Allah's apostle in any ghazwah he fought, except the Tabuk raid. I failed to take part in the ghazwah of Badr, but Allah did not admonish anyone who had not participated in it, for in fact Allah's apostle had only gone out in search of the Quraysh caravan. I witnessed the night of Al-Aqaba with Allah's apostle when we pledged
to war against all mankind
for Islam, and I would not exchange it for the Badr battle, although Badr is more popular among Muslims than the pledge. As for my news in this battle of Tabuk, I had never been stronger or wealthier than I was when I was with the Prophet in ghazwas."
This is a wonderful summation of Islam. The Bukhari tradition continues with,
"When I heard that the Prophet was on his way back to Medina, I got concerned and began to think of false excuses, saying to myself, how can I avoid his anger? Those who had failed to join the Battle of Tabuk came and started offering excuses. There were more than 80 men from whom Allah's apostle accepted excuses. Then he took their pledge of allegiance. When I came, he smiled a smile of an angry person, and then said, 'What stopped you from joining us? Had you not purchased an animal for carrying you?' I answered, 'Yes, but—'"
The Prophet and his militants treated Cobb like a pariah, banishing him from the community. They said of the twice peaceful Muslim,
"We never witnessed you sinning like this before."
Then,
Allah's apostle forbade all Muslims from talking to him. Cobb said, "I used to go out and pray with the Muslims and roam the markets, but no one would talk to me. This harsh attitude of the people lasted for a long time. Even my cousin, who was the dearest person to me, did not return my greetings. Thereupon my eyes flowed with tears."
it's no fun being a peaceful Muslim. Mohammed and his militants make Osama bin Laden's al-Qaeda gang look like Boy Scouts.
Tabari. Hatim said, "Adi, whatever you were going to do before Muhammad's cavalry descended upon us, do it now, for I have seen the banners of his army." When the Islamic cavalry left the settlement, they took Hatim's daughter along with other captives. She was brought to the messenger with slaves from Ta'i. He put her in an enclosure by the door of his mosque, where the captives were detained.
The mosque was now a prison, a symbol of Muhammad's power and control, not of his religion or faith. This woman was a rape victim in waiting. Sounding a lot like a Nazi propagandist, Hitler's Goebbels perhaps, a fundamentalist Muslim laid out Islam's agenda.
Tabari. Arabs are the most noble people in lineage, the most prominent, the best in deeds. We were the first to respond to the Prophet's call. We are Allah's helpers and the viziers of his messenger. We fight people until they believe in Allah. He who believes in Allah and his messenger has protected his life and possessions from us. As for those who disbelieve, we will fight them forever in the cause of Allah, and killing them is a small matter to us. Peace be unto you.
These are terrifying words, words that should be shouted from every political rostrum, from every pulpit, and into every microphone. This man had not corrupted Islam. Islam had corrupted him. Any doctrine that, when properly implemented, inspires such loathing, looting, and lunacy cannot be tolerated. Until Islam is held responsible for the carnage it inspires, terror will continue the world over.
Killing is a small matter
to them. Tabari dictates another 9 pages to the 9th year of the Islamic era. They focus on a single theme: money.
Tabari. Indeed, Allah has guided you with his guidance. If you do well,
capture booty,
obey Allah and his messenger. You must perform the prayers, pay the zakat tax, and give a 5th share of Allah's booty to his messenger. The required zakat is, from the land 1/10 of that watered by springs and rain, 1/20 of that watered by the leathern bucket. From camels, a milch camel for every 40 camels, a young male camel for every 30 camels. From sheep, 1 of every 5 camels, and from cows 1 from every 4th. If anyone pays more, it is to his credit. He who professes this bears witness to his Islam and helps the faithful
fight
against the polytheists. He has the protection of Allah and his messenger.
It was the Prophet's pay me now and pay me later plan. Muhammad used terrorism to confiscate property. Then he used Islam to force his victims into submission, so that he could tax them. The zakat continues to be an asset-based tax of 5 to 10% imposed annually on Muslims. In addition, they are required to give up 1/5 of any booty they steal in the name of Islam. Bonus points are awarded for additional contributions to the ongoing war effort, Islamic imperialism. So long as Muslims pay, they have nothing to fear. If they don't, everything is confiscated, and the niggardly Muslim is exterminated. Lenin, Mao, and Hitler imposed a similar regimen.